Will an AWS certification get me a job in 2024? This question is asked the most in my comments and in my DMs. Now, last week, I found this article. The cloud skills will be the most in demand in the UK, and this will also be the case globally. The cloud is only growing, and the cloud market is competitive. And as much as certifications are a great way to stand out, are they enough to help you get hired and land your dream cloud role? For those who don't know, I am a freelance AWS cloud engineer. I run my own cloud consulting business, helping startups build products on the cloud, and I hold the professional level AWS certification. Now, to understand if AWS certifications will get you a job, we need to understand what they are, their importance, and what they give you. Before we get started, you should check out my weekly cloud newsletter where I share free resources, tutorials, bootcamps, and so much more, helping you get started in the cloud. As cloud computing continues to grow and impact the tech industry, the demand for skilled engineers and architects in this field is also growing. AWS certifications are designed to validate your expertise and skills in using AWS services and solutions. AWS certifications are not easy. They take a lot of time, a lot of preparation, energy, and they cost money. So what do AWS certifications offer? They provide you a learning path from not knowing much about AWS specifically to learning AWS based on the career that you want to pursue. Whether you're a beginner, a developer, a solutions architect, a database admin, or even in a leadership position, AWS has a certification that's relevant to your role. I know it's hard to decide if you want to do an AWS certification or AWS cloud in general, but AWS has been a major player in the cloud computing market for a very long time, holding a significant market share. Now, businesses continue to move their operations to the cloud with the goals of becoming more efficient and improving their customer experiences. Organizations will continue to use cloud services as a way to access new technologies and improve the efficiency of their own operations. AWS is also used across various sectors, including government organizations, enterprises, and educational institutions. Some of the world's biggest brands like Facebook, Netflix, Adobe, and the BBC leverage AWS for their major projects, showcasing the widespread reliance on AWS across different industries. Now, AWS certifications are of course also great for your CV, as they definitely help you stand out, and a lot of the job listings now include you to have an AWS certifications or at least at an associate level. And these are for pretty much all cloud jobs. However, passing these exams doesn't automatically equate to having the practical skills necessary to build real-world projects. This is a critical distinction, especially for those aiming to become cloud engineers, cloud architects, or any other hands-on cloud role. That's the fundamental limitations to AWS certifications. They focus on assessing your theoretical understanding rather than hands-on practical skills. To get hired into a cloud job, yes, you get assessed for your knowledge and understanding of AWS, and you can learn all of this through AWS certifications by taking these multiple choice questions, or you can apply the theory from the AWS certifications and learn things properly by building hands-on cloud projects. Now, the cloud market is obviously booming, and the cloud in general is only getting bigger and bigger every single year, which means there is an increased demand for cloud skills, and this has not been evenly met with the supply of cloud talent, leading to a bit of a talent crisis in the cloud computing domain over the last few years. So, the formula is very simple. The market needs more people with cloud skills because there just isn't enough talented people who know how to build on the cloud and on AWS. So what does that give people like me and you? It gives us an opportunity to learn and pivot into the cloud. Certifications give you the theory behind AWS services and the best practices, but it's simply not enough to know how to build on AWS practically. In the real world, engineering roles demand the ability to apply the knowledge in practical scenarios, solving complex problems, designing systems, and managing cloud infrastructures. And these tasks require hands-on certifications, which is something that AWS certifications simply do not provide. To truly prepare for a career in the cloud as a cloud engineer, a cloud architect, or any cloud role, you need to complement your certifications with practical experience. Now, if you want to get started with the cloud and build real-world cloud skills through hands-on project-based learning, then you should check out my Cloud Engineer Academy, where I provide you with a structured way of learning and guiding you to go from zero to Cloud Engineer Hero, covering the fundamentals, tools, and technologies to learn and become a cloud engineer through self-paced videos, live workshops, and portfolio-based projects. And it doesn't matter if you're a beginner. I've taught students who knew nothing about cloud engineering to learning the skill set and get hired within their first 3 to 6 months. And it also doesn't matter what part of the world that you are from. I'm going to teach you everything from top to bottom. Inside the Cloud Engineer Academy, you won't just get access to the course content. You have access to the live workshops, a private Discord community of cloud enthusiasts from all over the world, interview preparation, and my own personal CV template that helped me secure multiple 6-figure jobs and just so much more. To find out more, go to www.cloudengineeracademy.io and see some of the reviews of our current students. By now, you should know that just getting an AWS certification is not going to get you a cloud job. You have to do more. You have to work harder. You have to be uncomfortable. You have to build cloud projects and gain practical experience. But what do I mean by practical experience? Because this is a little bit confusing. When I talk about practical experience, I'm not talking about using the AWS console and clicking a few buttons to spin up an EC2 server. I'm talking about building cloud projects with infrastructure as code and CI/CD pipelines. Building an understanding of different deployment models for applications, migration patterns, architectures, and so much more. There is, of course, a lot to learn, but you need to take one day at a time. Okay, so what will actually get you a cloud job? It's a mix of 3 things: certifications, hands-on practical experience through projects, and confidence. Certifications will get you through the door. It'll be a star on your CV. But if all you have is a certification on your CV, well, then my friend, you don't have very much. I recommend at the very minimum to get the associate level certification. But to really stand out, you should get a professional level certification, either in DevOps or architecture. Now, the next thing that you need is hands-on practical project experience. I understand that this is a difficult one if you are a beginner and don't know where to start or what projects to build and learn. Now, don't worry, I'm going to give you an exact mini roadmap guiding you in which step to take and what to learn exactly to build and land your first cloud job. The truth is that you can't just build projects without the fundamentals and exposure to the tools and technologies that cloud engineers and cloud architects use. How do you know what projects to build if you're missing the key information to create projects? Firstly, you have to learn the fundamental cloud computing concepts like virtualization, operating systems, networking, and databases. These are the core concepts that the cloud is built on, and if you skip these, you will struggle later on down the line. The next thing that you want to learn is cloud architecture and system design. By learning concepts like scaling, high availability, fault tolerance, load balancing, and so on, these are crucial to learn because when you work in a cloud role, you will be building and designing systems based off cloud architectures. And every system and every technical project that you build has been architected, and those are some of the concepts that you need to consider when building cloud architectures and systems in the cloud. Now, you also need to get comfortable with using Git and GitHub, branching, pushing code, and merging changes. Git is fundamental to how cloud teams build and deploy applications. And another topic is Linux and Bash scripting. Linux is at the heart of cloud applications and systems, and Bash helps you to do things faster and creating scripts for automation. Now, I really believe that these are the foundations to learn the cloud. And once you have these under your belt, it's time to dive into AWS. And there are loads of AWS services, as you probably know, but I would focus on the core services that are most common in architectures: VPC, IAM, S3, EC2, DynamoDB, CloudFront, and Lambda. Start there and build out as you get more comfortable with those services. Also make use of the AWS CLI as much as possible and get used to writing commands. So you've learned the foundations and AWS. Now I suggest getting into practical technologies like Terraform and GitHub Actions. You can use Terraform for infrastructure as code and GitHub Actions to create CI/CD pipelines because these are technologies widely used across cloud environments. Now combining the fundamentals, the architecture, AWS, Terraform, and GitHub Actions, you need to start building projects. Now, what projects do you build? I'm going to give you two that will help you combine everything that you've been learning. Firstly, a networking project with Terraform and GitHub Actions. This project involves setting up an AWS networking layer with Terraform, showcasing your ability to script and manage complex cloud infrastructures. And by adding GitHub Actions, you automate the deployment of your networking infrastructure, reinforcing the CI/CD practices. Now, the creation of a VPC, subnets, route tables, and security groups is managed programmatically, demonstrating a deep understanding of cloud networking essentials. And the second project to build is a web application deployment automated with Terraform and GitHub Actions. Deploying an application on AWS Beanstalk becomes an automated and scalable process with the introduction of Terraform for infrastructure scripting and GitHub Actions for CI/CD deployment. Now, this project shows how to use Terraform to define and manage AWS resources, while GitHub Actions, you can automate the deployment workflow of your application hosted on Beanstalk. The end-to-end process involves developing an application, containerizing it, and managing its deployment pipeline. Now, don't forget, each of these projects should start with a cloud architecture, designing what you're going to build. And these are two excellent projects to get your hands dirty. Now, if you're still stuck, then check out the Cloud Engineer Academy as I cover all of this in there. So the final thing to get you hired is confidence. And you build confidence by getting certified and building hands-on projects. The more you apply the certification knowledge to cloud projects, the more confident that you can become and increasing your chances to getting your first cloud job. Now, if you want some more cloud project ideas, then click here to watch the video. If not, then do not worry. I will see you on the next video. Peace.